America's Next Top Model has long been remembered as one of the most intense and dramatic reality competition shows in television history, particularly during its earlier cycles when the stakes felt incredibly high for aspiring models. Cycle 14 stands out as especially chaotic, filled with memorable on-camera conflicts that kept viewers glued to their screens. One standout moment involved a fierce argument between contestants Rin Vokes and Alasia Ballard, which escalated into a heated exchange that highlighted the competitive pressure cooker environment. Another unforgettable segment was a highly unusual photo shoot where models were required to pose in elaborate gowns constructed entirely from human hair. During this challenge, the contestants were encouraged to heckle and criticize each other from the sidelines, creating an atmosphere of deliberate antagonism rather than support. A former contestant from that cycle, Alexandra Underwood, who ultimately tied for third place alongside Angelique Preston, has opened up about what was happening off-camera during those intense production days. In a candid reflection years after her time on the show, Underwood described witnessing repeated and significant disagreements between the host and producer Tyra Banks and the executive producer Ken Mock. These arguments reportedly occurred frequently during the panel deliberations, the critical moments when eliminations were decided and contestants' fates were sealed based on their photographs and overall performance. Underwood explained that the back-and-forth between Banks and Mock was noticeable even to the contestants waiting anxiously for their names to be called. She characterized the exchanges as frequent and intense, suggesting that the two key figures often seemed to be operating from different visions regarding how the show should unfold and how events should be portrayed in the final edited episodes. This lack of alignment reportedly led to heated discussions that influenced decisions behind the scenes. Underwood further alleged that some eliminations felt predetermined before the panel even began, with certain outcomes already decided regardless of the contestants' actual performances or the quality of their photos. This sentiment aligns with similar claims made by others involved in the show's production over the years, including former creative director Jay Manuel, who has spoken about how production teams sometimes deliberately selected unflattering or weaker images for contestants they intended to send home, manipulating the narrative to fit a planned storyline. When asked for specific examples of what these arguments entailed, Underwood admitted that the details were hazy after so much time had passed, and she expressed uncertainty about what she was still permitted to discuss due to potential non-disclosure agreements that contestants typically sign. She emphasized that while she had positive experiences working with certain members of the production team, including one producer she remembered fondly who has since passed away, the overall realization hit her hard that the show was not the empowering modeling competition she had initially believed it to be. The turning point for her came during that infamous hair gown photo shoot, which pushed boundaries in ways that left many contestants uncomfortable. In that particular challenge, the models were divided into teams and coached by hairstylists to create dramatic, over-the-top reactions while their competitors posed. One stylist was shown instructing the group to yell, holler, and scream insults or distractions at the person on set, turning what could have been a creative artistic exercise into a spectacle of meanness and sabotage. Underwood recalled how, when it was her turn to pose, she struggled to maintain composure amid the jeering from her fellow contestants. She described holding back tears and ultimately crying during the shoot because the environment felt so contrary to what she expected from a modeling competition. The photo chosen for her panel evaluation captured that emotional moment, with visible distress on her face, which she felt underscored how low the experience had become. To her, encouraging participants to be deliberately cruel to one another crossed a line and diminished the spirit of the competition, which she had hoped would focus on talent, creativity, and growth rather than manufactured drama. This account adds to a broader pattern of reflections from many former participants and crew members who have come forward with stories of challenging or problematic experiences during the show's run. Issues have included controversial creative decisions in past cycles, such as photo shoots that required contestants to adopt personas representing different racial or ethnic backgrounds through the use of makeup, hairstyling, and costumes that some felt crossed into insensitive territory. In one instance from an earlier cycle, a contestant described feeling forced into a look involving darkened skin and specific hair treatments, which she perceived as akin to blackface, despite the production team's stated intentions to challenge narrow beauty standards and celebrate diversity. The official explanation at the time emphasized an effort to highlight underrepresented features like textured hair and darker skin tones in an industry often dominated by lighter skin and straight hair ideals, framing it as a celebration of varied beauty rather than an exploitative choice. Throughout these discussions, the underlying theme has been the tension between creative vision, entertainment value, and the real emotional toll on participants. Contestants like Underwood have expressed a mix of nostalgia for the opportunities the show provided and regret over elements that felt manipulative or unkind. The arguments between key production figures reportedly stemmed from differing opinions on how much drama to amplify, how to edit footage for maximum impact, and whether certain challenges truly served the goal of identifying top modeling talent or simply created compelling television moments. These behind-the-scenes dynamics contributed to an environment where eliminations sometimes felt scripted rather than organic, and where contestants were pushed into situations that tested their resilience in unexpected ways.